Glory to Ukraine, glory to brave Ukrainian army. Ukraine is fighting against Russia terrorist state on our land, against occupier. We are brave, we are strong, and we will definitely win. Finally, some cloudy conditions after pretty long lasting warm, even not warm but hot, and very dry period. We've had some rains, but they were very tiny, and soil is very dry, and that influences roses, not only roses, but other plants, even trees. We have already some initial stage of apples, peaches, nectarines, apricots, etc., etc. But they are also suffering, and their state is not very good because of this very dry period. And we hope that rain comes, and in some time, maybe even today, at least some water will pour from heaven, and we will be thankful for this. But I wanted to go through my garden. Some varieties are mostly blooming, or they are either on peak or maybe close to the peak of this flush. Some varieties are still not still opened, or maybe only starting to be opened. And yeah, they are all in different state. It's still not very close to the end of first flush in my garden, because climate it differs through Ukraine territory, and from region to region there could be pretty visible differences, and some regions they have already gardens, I mean rose gardens, they have already caught the first flush and they are waiting for the next one, but my garden is not as close to them, and I do not complain. I love my roses, I love their blooming, and I love state of my garden, especially these days, these periods, and even this years. Yeah, it's already more than 10 years of this war, and more than 3 years of full-scale of war. On the first stage or the foreground, you can see Rose William Shakespeare 2000. I have shown it to you before. And now in this cloudy pre-rain, hopefully, weather conditions, this variety, it has so very deeply intense color, and such intense color. This is my favorite one in this variety, and in many varieties, because I adore this color in roses, and of course this variety, William Shakespeare 2000, is very popular. It's very prominent one, very generous one, very good performing, but with asterisks, because why? Because it influences, or it could be influenced by weather conditions. While it was very hot on the during these days, some flowers, not couple of them, but many of them, they have finished their life in advance. I would say they could be still blooming if weather was much more comfortable. But yeah, this variety, this rose, was already in color in my videos, but this one, Pierre de Ronsard, it is now, she is now, I would say, at the peak of her blooming. There are still some branches with buds, but most flowers, they are either opened or started to be opening, and this bush, it performs very well, very nice, and all these flowers, almost all of them, are now fully formed, because initial flowers, 10, 20 maybe, they have been not fully formed, and they have been maybe defected in some way, and they were not so prominent as this variety could have. This variety, Pierre de Ronsard, it is very popular here in Ukraine, I think abroad as well, but not sure, of course. to be very confident. So you could help me and tell this whether this variety it is or she is popular there in your country. Such clusters as this one, and of course the um, expected to be more and more generous, but even in this state this cluster is very attractive, very nice looking, very pretty looking, and of course you want to be here, come here more often and enjoy it, even if the flowers they are not very intensely smelling comparing to William Shakespeare, a neighboring one, but still they have pretty light fragrance, and yeah, you could feel the notes of rose in this fragrance. There are more clusters inside the bush, and I need to maybe take leaves apart and to see this, but of course it's much more easier to do this without camera, but with camera it's not so easy because you have only two hands and it's not enough to make video and to take the leaves to maybe yeah, apart from the flowers. Flowers are very yeah, nicely looking. This type of flower is one of my favorite, and in general this variety is very highly estimated by me, very highly appreciated by me. And another one, a neighboring one, this is Cyclamen, Pierre de Ronsard, and I have planted it intentionally here nearby or very close to Pierre de Ronsard with intention to have some arc maybe when they will join together at some stage, and they will make this mutual place of intercrossed joint branches and interjoined flowers, and I think this will be impressively looking place. We'll see. Hope that we will see, because signs of it I see already that this my expectation could be fulfilled. Cyclamen, Pierre de Ronsard, from my point of view, it is more stable than Pierre de Ronsard. It winters better. It is more generous, maybe. The flowers they are not very drastically long-lasting, but still they are more long-lasting than Pierre de Ronsard. But in general, my estimation and my feedback for this variety will be the same high as for Pierre de Ronsard, and I have never maybe regret because of planting of them. I would repeat them in any garden, and as of me, one of the famous varieties and one of the um, very well performing varieties. You see these clusters, how they are rich, how they are intense. Of course, color, to be true, it could be more intense, especially on the outer side, and a lot of this creamy white petals. The reason is absence of the humidity. Absence of enough humidity, because watering by hand or manual watering it's not enough. They still need usual watering by rain, and that's why they are suffering, and quality of the flowers it could be much more better, and I hope that rains which are predicted here they will solve the situation and help these bushes to be much more attractive, much more showing signs of their variety, right, much more intensely. And I suggest to go further, because there are still a lot of varieties for me to show you. And not sure, of course, I will cover them today, but still, some of them will be covered. Eyes for You, and it is also very attractive, very noticeable, and very well performing, and of course, highly recommended by me. Why? Because it is very generous. Its color, very interesting one, because here we can see combination of white with a deep violet, pinky violet, and this violet inside part of the flower, it will be changing based on the life of flower and based on the weather conditions. And as you could see, it is perfectly combined with Blue for You and Rhapsody in Blue. And as of now, Blue for You and Ice for You, they are almost the same height. And this makes the combination and the neighboring very, very attractive. All these varieties are very interesting and very, I would say, generous. Always they are very generous. They are pretty long lasting, but they are loved by different beetles, by different insects, and that's why some part of the petals, part of the flowers, they could be destroyed, could be damaged by these insects. Let's go further, and there you could see midnight blue. Also, it is, or she is on the peak of her blooming, and there are already signs of sunny exposure, sunny activity, and we could not solve this, of course. It's just, for us, it's just to expect that we will wait for some rain, and rain will come and help us, and first of all flowers, to behave and to get all this necessary humidity. Marko Vovchok, this is Ukrainian bred variety. Almost 100 years ago it was bred in Kyiv, main botanical garden of our country, in the capital of our country. And as you can see in this condition, it's very deeply, intensely raspberry pink, and some berry pink, some berry raspberry, etc., etc. Very interesting one, very deep one. And bush, it is very, it's not so huge, it's not so branchy, but it is pretty archy branches. They are not so strongly looking above, right? Not so upright, but they are rather arching. Julia Child and some weeds. I will need to cope with them. At least today will start. Julia Child, one of my favorite, and from year to year it receives very high estimation from myself. I love it. I adore it. This bush, this variety, it shows and it behaves. It performs perfectly well. She's so intensely in color, intensely interested in color. Color, as you could see, it demonstrates very nice shades of a yellow color, and at some point in time it could be even rosy, with rosy signs. Here we could see only small maybe signs or initial signs of this pinky blushing rosy color, but as of main color it is still yellow, and it will be yellow, and I think it's very this variety, it is or she is very, very necessary for people who like who are artists, who work with some handmade clothes, etc., etc., because of this color, different shades of this color as I mentioned, and at the same time you could see all the shades of this yellow color. And it has, she has very good fragrance, not very intense, not so intense as William Shakespeare 2000, but still very, very pleasant one, and very, very yeah, interesting one. Very interesting variety and combination from the colors. You could see how could be how this variety could be combined with violet, with lavender, with some fruity, juicy berries, etc. Another variety with very, very high appreciation and high estimation from me, very positive feedback from me from year to year. This is Noir Desir Floribunda variety from Barney Roses, Italy. And why it is so appreciated by me? Because of its color. because of the clusters, of the rich clusters, of very, very prominent clusters as a result. And this color, it could be so intensely, so deeply intense in these weather conditions. And flowers, they are very long lasting, although they are semi-double, but still they are very long lasting on bush. And they could be influenced by some weather conditions, but not drastically, not severely. They will be still in the bush and will be performing very, very nice and very, very well. And yeah, form the flower, from the petals, they bring some interesting maybe points to my general score of this variety. I have some perennials near this variety, but I don't know how they are called in English. Yeah, this one, Noir Desir. There on the yeah, behind the bush you see eggplant. And yeah, this is the first year when I experiment with vegetables, with planting vegetable like tomato, eggplant, pepper near roses or between roses. We'll see what result I will have. Acropolis variety, one of my favorite, as I also mentioned, maybe not even once. And yeah, I have to cover my hydranea because she was very influenced by sun, and that of course influenced general picture of Acropolis, because all this coverage, yeah, it does not work well for general performance of the picture. But please forgive me, and let's look at the beauty of Acropolis. Acropolis also was one of the recommended varieties which I always recommend and have a very nice and very good impressions while watching at her, looking at her through the season, and from year to year, from flush to flush, she yeah, she brights, she behaves, she is prominent, she behaves at the best of her conditions and of her possibilities. And as you can see, here we could spot different, or also combination of colors, even different colors, because here we see pinky and maybe creamy, a little bit greenish. The color could be more green, but maybe it is already pretty long on the bush, I mean the center flowers, and that's why they are not showing exactly or precisely greenish shades, but some may be creamy white, dark creamy white, or dirty creamy white instead. Flowers are very long lasting, as I mentioned. Clusters are very long lasting. They are not influenced by any hot, any warm, any sun exposure, etc., etc., and they are very good resistant to this um, maybe dry conditions, dry soil conditions, something like that. Yeah, and there are also more fresh clusters, and in general, wave or plush, it is pretty close to its end, and I will be cutting uh, this bush shortly, and will be waiting for the next way to come. Novalis, and as you can see from the camera, that it or she is very influenced by sun, by hot, by warm. Not warm. Warm is not maybe hard for she to go through, but hot, yeah, dry and hot, windy hot, it's very hard for this variety to get through. And in addition, with dry soil, it's much more harder to go with. But still, for general picture of this part of my roses, it suits, or she suits very well. You see here different colors, different maybe shades of the same color like red, but still different colors. And this one, lily, violet, lavender, etc., of Novalis, it suits perfectly well for the general picture of this part of my garden. Orange Reeva, single one, very tiny bush, I would say, only a single branch and single flower. Here we see Princess Tamako, Japanese bread variety, and it is already more than 2 weeks on the bush. That's why flowers and they are in such state, but still will be blooming. Ketchup and mustard. I was recommended, or this bush, it was recommended for me by one of the rose gardener here in Ukraine, and because of course, um, very noticeable brightness, very noticeable flowers and colors of the flowers from far, and you could spot this variety, especially when it will be bigger, and you see, yeah, I will demonstrate difference from different point of views. From this point, from this angle, you could see that mostly color is mustard, right? Let's go around this bush and you will see the changing, and very interesting, right? Um, I love this variety, this bush, because of these characteristics. It is so durable that one side is mustard, and as soon as you go around her, it will be opposite one, and yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Of course, this is first flush and first year here in my garden. That's why she and or bush, it is very. Not tiny, but pretty small, and I expect it to be bigger, but we'll see. Of course, we'll see, of course. Here I will demonstrate you a couple of varieties of Ukrainian bread varieties. Ukrainian. Crimea, near Yalta. Left hand, this is Emmi, and right hand, more red one, this is Khersones. And while we are looking at Ukrainian bread varieties, of course, as usual, I will mention war, because yesterday there was a call between two dictator and the biggest president of the biggest democracy and of the biggest economy in the world. And right after they have finished their call, Russia proceeded to terrorize us, and they have attacked usual Russian citizens, usual Russian people, yes, usual Russian terrorists. They have attacked Kyiv, Ukraine, but mostly Kyiv. There it was combined attack, or pretty. Pretty, I would say, destructive, of course, as usual. Combination of Shaheds, Iranian, Russian drones, and different type of missiles. And there were explosions in more than 20 locations throughout the city, throughout our capital. And a lot of civilian buildings damaged, ruined, etc. A lot of schools, medical centers, even 911 center, and residential multi-store buildings, etc., and even railway station, and not the station itself, but railway different maybe infrastructure of the main railway station and people there. Of course, this is the main railway station of our country, and a lot of people are there, a lot of trains are there, and people, they have been in trains, and they have heard all these drones, they have heard all this air raid fight against these drones, against these missiles, and this was very, very hardly. This was very, very dreadful, of course. And as of now, some of the locations, our rescue services are still fighting to cover the fire and to cope with all these ruins they have brought, that terrorists have brought to us. Roses, they are still providing some hope for us, at least for me, and I think for most of the people who have roses, who plant roses, and who adore roses. And at this time, this is at least one thing which could help to overcome all these results of daily, nightly attacks, and just to have a little bit maybe sound condition of our mind, of our uh, mental system, and we are usual people here, but our soldiers are very brave, our volunteers are very brave, and although these dictators, these very, very kind presidents of very, very kind countries, they are very deeply concerned, of course, by this attack as usual, and they still could not make final decisions and right decisions and could not start to help us in reality, and by just providing us from time to time with some military help. We are fighting with any condition because we know the price of this war, we know the price of this fight. We could not give up because this will be the whole or complete destruction of our country and of our society, of our ethnos, because yeah, we have already had this. And as I have said, we are still usual people with usual issues, health issues, and we also have problems. Some of them have problems with health, for example, and we still go to hospital. Our doctors, they do operations, some surgery operations to us. I am in process of recovery from my operation, and luckily the surgery operation, it was not under the Shahed attack. It was one of the nights, not one of the nights, one of the days when there were no alarms in our city, and I was lucky to at least have surgery without alarms. But then 2 nights after, I was not so lucky because there was an attack to my city and to nearby cities, and it was not very good and not very healthy, of course, and very hard for me to sleep in such condition. And when you are on anesthetics, on different right pain relievers, and you try to sleep, and you hear all these sounds of this anti-drones fight, right, air fight, anti-missiles air fight. It's not very peaceful rest, I would say. But let's go to beauty a little more. A couple more I will show you, and all others will be for the next video. This is Big Purple, classic hybrid tea, classic bush, classic flowers, classic branches. Maybe not classic color, but I think this color is familiar to you, is pretty usual. I have, or even I have a couple of varieties in this or very close color. And of course it's very fragrant. It's a very good choice to cut it into and put it into vase and put it near myself and walk because I'm walking as many people here in Ukraine. We do not beg for some help and for some financial help. No, we were working. And after operation, I have taken 4 days to recover and start and got back to my work obligation and to work. It's a pleasure for us and for me, because in such conditions as we have, to have work, it's blessing because you could apply yourself, you could think, you could switch your thoughts, and yeah, I am still operable, and I am still highly motivated and highly resulted person. So yeah, war did not influence my results and my usual duties, work duties. Daphne porcelain de Orient, another Japanese bread selection, another Japanese bread variety, and the winter was not very good for this variety, and that's why she starts or she started from maybe from the ground, yeah, or from the underground, from the yeah, the parts of the branches which were under the ground, and her recovery is not so fast as mine, but still she gives some branches, she will give some clusters, and these clusters will demonstrate their beauty, because this flower, it is very beautiful, or they are very beautiful, because there are a couple on the in the focus, and color is beautiful, combination, and this also change in color is beautiful, and life of these flowers for this variety, it's also pretty long lasting. And couple of vegetables here, and maybe Cinco de Mayo, and this will be it for today. Oh, I love this spot. Why? Because it is very fragrancy here, very aromatic, very fragrant. And if I am just will be standing here and do not doing anything, I will be in the cloud of fragrance, in the cloud of aroma. And this fragrance is very, very sweet from different varieties, because almost all of these varieties that grow here, they are very, very fragrant, and they are very pretty fragrant, and very nicely fragrant. Yeah, a lot of colors, combination, and a lot of work still for me to do here to make this look much more neat, maybe to be more pretty, etc., etc. Thanks, as usual. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for listening, watching, sharing your thoughts, sharing your feedbacks. Thanks for all your words of support. And yeah, we stay strong. Till the next video, and bye.